Hi everyone, this is the Chrissy B Show, a program aimed at looking after our mental health and well-being. Today we'll be speaking about another very important subject, and if you don't have this particular thing or learn to develop it, you won't get very far in your life, be it in your career, in business or even personally. And actually a lack of it could also lead into serious trouble and you end up feeling quite low. So what on earth am I talking about? Well, it's self-belief. A couple of definitions are the belief that you can do things well and also confidence in oneself and one's ability. But before we move on to give you some help, let's take a look at a few reasons why people lack self-belief in the first place. So there are people that grow up maybe with parents or teachers that tell them that they'll never amount to anything, and that has actually become part of their belief system. That's what they really feel about themselves. Another reason could be that maybe you're too hard on yourself and you try to be perfect all the time, and when you kind of like fail, you feel really badly about yourself. And I know a few people like that. Actually, I used to be like that. Maybe you've made mistakes that led to some negative circumstances and you're maybe afraid to try anything new or to really go for those dreams. Another reason could be that maybe you've been a victim of abuse and there's a partner that's constantly put you down, or maybe you've been bullied or mistreated by others in some way. And maybe it's just the case that you actually just learn in a different way to other people and you see that as something negative. So whereas some people thrive in a certain environment, you need a different way of learning, and you don't have to learn the same way as others. So there are lots and lots of different reasons, but whatever the reason might be that you don't have any self-belief or your self-belief is quite low, we're here to help you and to tell you that you can develop this and also fly high. So let me tell you about my guests for today. They are Coach Chris Browne, who'll be giving some tips when it comes to work and career. Innovator, entrepreneur and founder of Care3, Andrew Cowan, who definitely believed in himself and his idea because he created a plug-and-play wearable health device that's actually already in use by the NHS and social services. And we also have business mentors Jonathan Pharl and Chelsey to give advice when it comes to starting and expanding a business. And we also caught up with Gabriele Musella, who told us all about his mobile hairdressing business and brand new app that allows people to have hairstyling services at their fingertips. And we also meet his father, Francesco, who is very famous in the hairstyling business and who did an amazing upstyle for our presenter, Jennifer Lon. And later, I'll be talking about 6 things super confident people believe about themselves. So before I speak to my first guest, Coach Chris Browne, we always talk about how important exercise is for our mental and physical well-being. So here's Jane Rafter talking about what benefits there are for us psychologically.
Hi everyone, I want to talk to you today about the psychological benefit of exercise. So it's pretty obvious that you're going to get physical gains if you do regular exercise, but don't underestimate the power that exercise can have over your feeling of happiness, your sense of well-being, your psychological well-being. Because when we put our body under stress, as it were, i.e. exercise, we get the old fight or flight response in the brain, which means that we release endorphins. It's the fight or flight response which we used to have when we were in danger, but the body still responds when it's put under pressure and exercises. It responds in the same way, and you release endorphins into your brain. It's a chemical that's released into your brain, and these chemicals, they lock into the same receptors in your brain that opiates lock into. So an endorphin is your own natural high. There are no negative side effects with our endorphins, and they make us feel really, really good. So if you've heard of the term runner's high, that's what that's relating to. So if you can find an exercise that you enjoy, you release the endorphins, you're going to feel physically fit, but also psychologically amazing as well. It ought to be prescribed for everybody in the nation, especially if you've got the blues. So get out there and enjoy your exercise and you'll feel the benefit, I promise you. Okay, see you next time.
Thank you very much to Jane. So now it's time to get some advice for your work and career with Coach Chris Browne. Welcome to the show, Coach Chris. How are you?
Thank you, Chris. I'm very well. Thank you.
Have lots of self-belief?
I've got a lot of self-belief ready to share it all right now.
Okay, brilliant. Because I know you specialise quite a bit in the interview phase and like even before people preparing for interviews. So let's start with that first of all, because obviously if people fall at that first hurdle, it's, it does damage confidence quite a bit.
Very much
so. Tell us about what your take is on self-belief.
Well, self-belief, we're talking about confidence, right? Do you know the Latin word for confidence is confidere, which means full trust. So what we're talking about is having full trust in yourself and your abilities.
Yeah.
But what tends to happen, we're talking about self-belief and confidence, what tends to happen is that we got this little inner voice that speaks to us and tries to remind us of things way back when that you can't do and you shouldn't do and you'll mess up and all these sort of things. So you go to this interview and you're thinking, I'm going for this interview, and you're getting really nervous and panicky. Why are you getting nervous and panicky? Right? The reason why is because of all this inner voices telling you you're not going to do, you're going to mess up, they're looking at you, all these sort of things which aren't true. So first of all, we got to get rid of those inner voices inside our head that tell us we can't do it and we can't make it. Because the opposite today is the reason why you're there is because they believe that you're good enough for the job. And all they want to do is to see, hey, we believe this person's good for the job, let's just see who they are.
It's so true, because they won't even bother calling you in and wasting, everyone's busy, so they're not going to waste time on someone that they think is just okay.
That's right, time
As long as you've been
money.
honest, of course, on your CV, that's a different matter, isn't it?
Which does
Make
happen.
sure you're honest, right?
Well, funny you say that, because there's times where people aren't, and obviously that self-belief goes because they think, I'm going to get caught out. And that inner voice is speaking the truth then, right? Because you know that you haven't written the right thing down, right? So got to be aware of that. So when we're talking about it inner voice and telling ourselves, if we get back to being our authentic self, which isn't easy, being your authentic self, not for many in that position, because you've got to think, you've got to get back to thinking about, well, who am I? What am I selling to them? What am I going to give? How can I be an asset to that company without putting on something else that you're not? That's why I say sell your authentic self. Most people who are their authentic selves tend to be quite liked by others because they're real at the end of the day. But when I say be real, I'm not saying be too casual in the meeting, but sell yourself the best you are in who you are. And that really helps. Yeah.
I mean, while you're speaking, I'm just remembering someone that I interviewed once, and this person was very honest. Okay, you interview those people that think they're brilliant at everything and they're over the top, and I don't like that. Because when you get to that phase in the interview where you ask, what are your things that you need to work on? And this person was so honest, and I really appreciated that, and they did get the job. Because of that honesty and that, okay, I'm not too good at this and I think it affects other things. And I love that about the person.
They're real.
Yeah.
You know what you're actually getting in a package. What's on the outside of the box is what's on the inside. Or the tin, as they say. I say the box. All right. But that is really important, being your authentic self at the same time. So we're talking about all the mental things there to actually get you through the interview. Now, the other side is the actual physical, the things like being able to actually make eye contact when you speak to someone. I mean, it's natural to look away and think because you're thinking, but it's unnatural to stay fixed to that person because they're going to dial 999 and take you away, right? So you've got to use eye contact as well. Your tone of voice you've got to actually be able to sell yourself with your voice too. People feel more comfortable. Same back to that authentic self. When you're being yourself, you're excited about something, you get excited. When you feel a bit low, it automatically comes out. If you keep on one monotone going like this all the time, yes, I used to do so and so, that person's going to fall asleep. It's dying. The interview's, it's having its slow death. You've got to think about it. Your voice is very important. It says a lot about you. Okay. Right? And we've got to talk about body language. All this closed body language and all this sort of thing, it just doesn't work. You're blocking that communication coming in and blocking that communication going out. And
what's the best way to
Right. Well, one is present yourself obviously upright, good posture, right? Not that means slipping in the counter, but good posture. It's right from top of the head, straight spine. That is very good. It projects a lot of energy as well. The reason why we tend to lean forward is we're pushing energy forward when we get excited in that sort of sense. Not always wise, but sit back as well. One time I was interviewing somebody said, there you go. Somebody said to me, well, what do I do with my hands? As if they're things that just dangle there, I'd say, well, you got them, And somebody said, well, do I put them on? No, just be yourself. Put your hands together, clasp them, just be yourself at the end of the day. As long as you don't keep saying, when I used to go down there and I lived at so-and-so place, those things don't work.
Don't
no sign language and all that sort of thing, But it's your posture as well, where you sit makes a difference as well. It's what you project as well. And being able to listen to someone and mirror. You know, when somebody's actually listening, we say, do exactly what you've done. The gestures are, you know,
I'm
little
just
things. Yeah, you just go like, I know, I get it. Right, no, but seriously, yeah, people do actually start to do gestures that say, I'm listening to you, I'm following. You've got to be able to read all this as well. And you can actually tell to a certain point, shouldn't really say that though, when you're on a winning streak in an interview, my little gestures, you can tell.
You can, yeah,
so
a little smile here, a little like...
Yeah. So self-belief is taking away all those things that says I can't do, replace them with the things that I can.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they chose you. You've got to work out what that reason is and sell it to them, just like any product.
Yeah.
Whether I was selling vacuums or pens or whatever, the person doesn't actually buy the pen or the vacuum or whatever. What they buy is you. They buy your personality, and then they find out about what you can do and who you are. Hey, we like this person. This person's great. They'll be great in the team, great atmosphere. They fit in so-and-so. Let's see. And there might be areas, like you said, that person being honest and saying what they can't do. Well, we can work on that with them. We want this person. These little things make a difference.
Okay. I think we've got a couple of minutes, Chris. I just wanted to sort of take this now into, like, if you've already got the job, and how would you apply this self-belief there in your workplace?
That's a brilliant one, because if you've already got the job, did you mean after the interview? You're talking about just generally got the
right? Or generally any job.
Okay, you generally got the job, right? Well, one, you've got to excel than what's actually expected of you, right? You've got to keep learning. You've got to keep progressing. If you really want to climb that ladder, you've got to do more than what's actually expected of you. And when I say that, I'm not talking about, you've got to run around and do this and do that and do it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how much you learn, because you add value to yourself. So that's the way you're going to progress in doing things the right way. Being able to actually listen to others as well and learn from them. You know, sometimes some people think, well, I know it now. My feet are on the table. I know it now. And that doesn't work. You know, you've got to be able to say, well, all right, that person might be senior or might not be senior to you, but they might know something else more, which you can actually learn from. So whoever it's come from, learn, progress. Be an asset to the company, as I always say. Keep saying that over and over again. Asset to the company.
Yes, we need to drill it in, don't we?
That's it. That's it.
Chris, thank you so much, and we'll see you again very soon.
Pleasure, Chrissy.
Thank you. All right, guys, so after the break, I'll be joined by innovator, entrepreneur and founder of Care3, Andrew Cowan, who definitely believed in himself and his idea because he actually created a plug-and-play wearable health device that's already in use by the NHS and social services. And we'll also be watching the first part of our interview with Gabriele Musella, who told us all about his mobile hairdressing business and his brand new app that allows people to have hairstyling services at their fingertips. And we also met his father, Francesco, who's very famous in the hairstyling business, and he did this really lovely updo for our presenter Jennifer Lon. Welcome back, everybody, to our show all about tips on self-belief. So before I meet my next guest, let's take a look at the first part of our time with Gabriele Musella, who told us all about his mobile hairdressing business. Hi everyone, today we're in Gilly Green Boutique Salon in Mayfair, about to sample 3 different hairstyles done by Flair Hairdressing, who are actually mobile hairdressers, and we're trying something different today. Jen, you're going to have an upstyle, aren't you?
I am. They showed me the picture. It's one of those really impressive ones that you see on social media. I'm going to have like a rose type style done on my hair.
That's amazing. And Dipali, you're going to be quite brave and you're going to get a haircut today, aren't you?
Yeah, I usually get my hair cut just like a trim, but this time it's going all the way here, so I'm excited.
And I'm the one that's playing it safe, just for a little trim and a hairstyle. So we're really looking forward to it, and we'll also be interviewing the owner of Flair to find out more about their mobile business. So everyone, you've seen Nicola on the show a couple of times, as one of our regulars. Nicola, how are you?
I'm very well, and you?
Very well, thank you. So tell us why you chose this particular hairstyle for Dipali. So she told us that she's going to cut it up to here and have a bit of volume and stuff. Why did you choose that for her?
Well, I just feel that, you know, we want to incorporate some volume into the hair, and looking at the hair texture, looking at the feature of the face. She's got such a beautiful, gentle face, and I just feel that I think it would be great just to cut a little bit shorter and just incorporate few layers. Even in the morning, she just need to just shake the hair and create body and volume. Just shake, you will be absolutely fine, yes.
So everybody, this is Francesco, and he's the lovely gentleman that's doing Jen's hair today. And honestly, I've seen some of the photos of the hairstyles. They're absolutely breathtaking, really amazing. Jen, it's going to be amazing. So Francesco, how did you start your business in Italy and how did it develop?
È iniziato nel 1975 al centro storico di Napoli, e dopo tanti anni ho sviluppato questa tecnica che adesso vedrete. È una tecnica che si può lavorare il capello, diciamo, in qualsiasi modo, trattando i capelli in questo modo qua, come sto facendo adesso. Ho trattato i capelli con un prodotto mio, di mia creazione, per avere dopo un effetto slime, sheen molto lucido, nello stesso momento trattabile.
So Francesco, how did you get involved with Flair?
Mio figlio Gabriele ha lavorato con me tanti anni come parrucchiere, e poi siccome che il futuro è tutto digitale, sui telefonini, l'app, abbiamo creato questa nuova applicazione Flair per telefonini, per questi capelli, diciamo, in modo digitale, online.
So we're watching the second part of that video a bit later on. So now it's time to meet innovator and entrepreneur Andrew Cowan. Hello, Andrew.
Hi,
How
Chrissy.
are you?
I'm really well, thank you.
Now, would you describe yourself as someone that has quite a bit of self-belief, would you say?
You have to.
Yeah.
If you're going to innovate, you have to believe. There's no two ways about it. You'd be dead in the water if you didn't.
Yeah.
And have that confidence and self-confidence to be able to push yourself out there despite what everybody might be telling you.
Okay, so we're going to get more into that, because I'd like to get your personal tips on this and how to develop self-belief as well. But first of all, tell us what's your background? What were you doing before you invented your, I won't say what it is now, but product?
Well, I've had a very long and very varied career. I was a contemporary dancer with London Contemporary Dance Theatre. I then was a photographer, producer, director, won various awards, ran a production company. Then ran a database company. My last position was at IBM. I became a family carer because my mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. After being a family carer, I then went and created, ran my own home care agency, specialising in dementia. And that is really where I sort of recognised the lack of technology that was in the care sector, specifically home care, where I felt that we could make a difference.
What was it that you saw was lacking in particular, would you say?
Oh, all sorts of things about diagnostics, about keeping people occupied, about social isolation, supporting family carers, which is my passion. I'm very passionate about supporting family carers because they're out there they're doing a fantastic job. They save the government billions and they're not recognised.
Was it something that you mainly saw when you were looking after your own mum?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, a lot of innovation comes from seeing the gap by virtue of the fact that you're doing it or have done it. And that's a very sobering experience.
So tell us then, how did you actually get the ball rolling with everything? What did you do?
I was very lucky in that I saw a piece of technology that was underutilised. And as a result of that, working with a colleague who is what I call Mr. Public Sector, Brad, we developed how we could use this technology and apply it more specifically to the healthcare sector. And as it so happens, it's got a tremendous amount of algorithms, so that you have a preventative and also reactive sensors within the wearable device, which you wear on the wrist. I describe it as wearing the NHS and social services on your wrist. It is extremely powerful and very, very disruptive in the way we can change the delivery of healthcare in the UK, to the point where I would question whether or not, or what is the role today of a GP with all of this amazing amount of sensors and diagnostics going on. To some degree, we can tell whether someone's getting an infection before they get an infection, which is really innovative. So it saves on antibiotics, the cost, saves your immune system from being undermined by over-excessive use of antibiotics, which is a great worry within the healthcare sector, because we're running out of active antibiotics. So it's a question of vision and how you can see and exploit the technology to fulfill a vision.
Which is, that's very important, because that's obviously what you had in the first place. You just saw a need that was there, and then you had to imagine this product first, didn't you? And actually really believe that it could work, which is amazing.
It's more often than not, there is the technology, it just needs the vision to take it from what we're used to seeing it and seeing how it's being applied, and take it into another direction. And no one else saw that. Or maybe there are lots of people who see it, but not many people are mad enough to try and do it.
All right, so tell us about that now, because obviously, like we said, the topic is self-belief. What have you come across that maybe tries to kind of block you in a sense, or would it be people? Is it like your own sort of thoughts? And how did you overcome those things?
I think the greatest barrier for this country is the lack of investor vision. In the States, they're not so much interested in the product, they're more interested in the individuals and the vision that they have, and the energy and the commitment they have. This country is slightly different. So if you're trying to push an idea or push something that's different, it's quite hard, and it's an upward hill struggle. Especially if you are looking at much bigger pictures than first stage, second stage. You've got a much bigger vision, and how to exploit it, how to slice and dice the opportunity into different revenue opportunities and revenue streams. Because we have basically both a public sector offering as well as a private sector offering. The two are very separate, and the two are treated in very, very different ways. It's like chalk and cheese.
And tell me about, obviously you had the vision in the first place, but what vision do you see for the future for this?
Very exciting, really exciting. It will change the way healthcare is delivered in this country. If we get the opportunity to roll it out. Within the NHS and social services, because it's so fragmented, it's a very hard upward hill, piecemeal approach. There is no logic to it, in a way, despite what the government says. Private sector is much easier, very clear. The vision, the long-term vision, actually is not about the product, it's not about health, capturing or sensing people's health. It's the data that's the exciting piece, because with that data you can create anything or do anything, and also it's so important. I'm involved with an organisation called Digital Catapult, which is a government-run initiative or funded initiative, and they specialise in big data, and the opportunity that big data affords is absolutely mind-boggling.
Sounds really exciting.
Absolutely mind-boggling. So the company will pivot. So as it stands, it's a wearable device, health device that links into the NHS, will pick you up or create an alert in the event that something untoward happens. I can tell whether you're going to get ill potentially before you get ill. So there's a lot of preventative stuff that can be done.
Sounds amazing.
It is fantastic. It's so exciting. But that data will also help the government in looking at it on a big scale of things, the big picture, which is also a very important thing, which is why you will pivot into data rather than diagnostics, is that actually the government needs that information, because how can we plan our health for the future? How can we plan our roads? How can we plan our transport systems? How can we reduce carbon emissions? All of this is about big data and the analysis of big data. And the beauty of it is we can't see where the correlations exist. So it's like a whole brave new world out there. It's fantastic.
Wow.
And
I can see how passionate you are about it, so you can tell.
Don't get me going.
Well, we can't keep going on now because we're going to have to go to a break. But after the break, we're going to be bringing on Jonathan Pharl, who you know very well, and we'll be explaining the link.
Great guy. And
also Chelsey Baker, who are both our resident business mentors on this program. So make sure you stay tuned. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back everyone to our program all about tips on gaining self-belief. So now I have joining me our business mentors, Jonathan Pharl and Chelsey Baker. Welcome to the show. Lovely to see you both again.
Good to see you.
So let's talk about Andrew first of all, this amazing idea that he had and the way he's rolled everything out. So what do you think, Jonathan?
Oh, well, I was absolutely blown away the first time I met Andrew about the whole thing. You know, it's someone who came from the industry from a place with heart. First and foremost, you know, the whole concept and the identifying a problem in the market came from what he was experiencing with his mother when his mother first fell ill with Alzheimer's, and then he made it his mission to find the right sort of solution to, you know, improve what is a huge problem in the public sector, and also a fantastic solution that can be sold very well into the private sector. And what I also like about him is that rather than have to start from scratch to build and come up with this idea and then all the money that would have to be spent on developing the technology, he was very, very clever in finding one that existed in another part of the world that he was then able to acquire the license of to sell here and in other parts of Europe as well. So the brand's Future Care, I think it's going to be a big success, and we're working with Andrew to make it that success.
Brilliant. Okay, and how about you, Chelsey? Your comments as well?
Fantastic. Yeah, really. As soon as I obviously saw the product and what it can do, and the future vision of it, wow, it's certainly going to disrupt the whole industry. Fantastic.
That's really good. So obviously the show's all about self-belief, as you know, so I'd like to get your tips as well, because we see Andrew's very, very believes in himself and his ideas and everything, which is fantastic. Some people not so much, but that's also very important in business, isn't it? Really, that has to be one of the main things. Believing in yourself, your idea, in your product or service. So top tips, please. Let's start with you, Jonathan.
I was going to say, Chelsey, do you want
go on then, Chelsey.
Ladies first, you go.
Thank you. I think unless you have, unless you believe in yourself and your idea, you're really going to struggle, because imagine when you're going up and you're pitching, like a lot of these companies at the moment, they're obviously looking for investment and funding. If you're going and you're speaking to a panel of investors and you're not confident and you don't believe in what you're saying, then you're certainly not going to get the money. So we have.
What if you do believe in what you're saying, but you're just not kind of used to
standing in front? But it doesn't inspire confidence from the panel of investors. So you're there, you're like, yeah, I'm looking for £25 million to do something, and you're not confident with your figures. It just shows to the investor, that there's a few issues here, because ultimately, when you're pitching to an investor, they need to know and see that you can deliver on what you say. That you're pitching for. So there's a big problem in people not coming across as confident when they're pitching for a lot of money. There's a big amounts of money here at stake. So it's really worth making sure that you're confident in your pitch. And all it takes really is just practicing. It's like with everything. If you're feeling unconfident in something, you've got to assess, what is causing me to feel like this. So looking out for those triggers. It could be, for example, that you hate telephone calls, or walking into a crowded room when it's like a networking event, and actually addressing your fears, and then moving forwards and making yourself feel more confident with it.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Jonathan?
Well, I think, I mean, even before you're in front of investors, what investors really want to be seeing these days is that you've already got traction in the market. So it goes without saying, self-belief in your product, your service, and what you're doing, it has to be there. It's more difficult, as Andrew and Future Care can tell you, it's more difficult trying to raise money on just an idea if you don't already have traction in the market. So between the team, Brad and Andrew at Future Care, they've got great contacts, and they've gone out firstly to various areas of the NHS and some areas within the private healthcare sector, and with that passion and with that great product has already got existing confirmations of contracts, right? And so it's just as important to have that self-belief when you're selling a product or service to your customer. You know, they have to have that belief in it as well too. And it makes your life a lot easier in terms of raising money if you're then saying, with that passion that Chelsey was talking about, and by the way, we've actually just done this deal and we've done this contract. And the only real way to get that first customer over the line, you know, I mean, obviously this product has sold other parts of the world, but it hasn't sold in the UK. But it's that absolute self-belief and the way in which you're selling that product to a customer for them to be the first to, you know, to write that check effectively. And Future Care are in a really good position because Brad, Andrew's partner, is very well known and respected in the healthcare sector. So that helps massively. And, you know, what also helps with self-belief is a good product, you know. It can be a pretty difficult thing to be running around with your product, your service, your brand, trying to sell it to people, and difficult to keep that self-belief up if you're just getting rejection after rejection.
This is what I was going to ask you actually, because if you do have a lot of self-belief in yourself and the product, but other people don't, then that's quite difficult to deal with. Because I remember remember Mark Wright come on and he was saying how, you know, he was going to banks with his idea and everything, and no one would take him on until he got onto The Apprentice and he won it. So it was like he was getting so many rejections, but he just kept going with it.
No, but it's also just lack of knowledge and experience, you know. I mean, I know Mark really well. He's just done an interview for the Rockstar app, you know. He's a new mentor on board with that. A great guy. And you forget he's 26 years old, you know, and he won The Apprentice at 24, which meant he was walking around the banks as a crazy Australian like me in London at 23, you know. And it's just lack of knowledge and experience, because in his mind, he thinks, I need money. Who do I get money from? The bank. And is walking around, you know, to bank managers with an idea and a business plan. I mean, you can have all the self-belief in the world, but that's the wrong avenue of funding to be trying to get, with no security, no assets, and just an idea. So, you know, having that PR and having the likes of Lord Sugar now being his business partner, a 50% owner in the company, you know, he's been the most successful candidate so far in terms of sales growth, profit growth. You know, they're doing really, really well. But have a great product. And I've told you this a million times, I know, but how do you give yourself the evidence first that you've got something that's great? You know, prove to yourself you've got something that people want. Let your ideal customers help mold what your product and idea is. If it's a startup, if it's an idea. Someone like Andrew found a great product that was selling, knew there wasn't such a solution in the UK, bought the license for that, controlled the license for that, and now has a product that he knows is going to sell and is selling. So fast tracking with a great product.
We're going to be hearing so much from you, Andrew.
I hope so.
And just a question for Chelsey, because just regarding the mentoring, where you work with people that maybe don't have much self-belief, but they have something great going, how do you kind of mentor them and help them to reach that place where they can actually go out there confidently and talk about themselves and the product or service?
That really comes through practice and repetition. I see a lot of people when they come to me, actually one of the things I do specialise in is confidence, because in terms of all the pitching and the public speaking training that I do, people have to learn how to actually pitch and how to portray their product, especially to the media. So it's no good not believing in your product or having no self-belief when you're going to do a massive PR campaign. Once you've got the product, it's then, I think that's where mentoring really comes into it, is that they have somebody else that believes in their product apart from themselves. So that's where we instill confidence in our mentees to actually go forward. We show them how to, you know, obviously liaise with the press, what to say, things like that. So So they've got somebody else watching over them and have got their back, really. But
and it's going to be really honest as well, to say, like,
absolutely.
Would you maybe go with someone and actually watch their pitch and just give them feedback on it? Maybe if it was for real, would you do that?
I do that, yes. Yeah, I also do people's keynote speeches. Okay. So in terms of like walking on the stage, what they're doing with their arm movements, their tone, everything, because if you're addressing an audience, especially like a global audience, you really need to come across as confident.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not going to be booked again. And of course, it can really damage your product.
Okay.
So yeah, fantastic. It's one of the most rewarding things to do, seeing somebody come in like all meek and, you know, not a little bit disgruntled, disheartened over their product, and then obviously building them up. And that's what mentoring is as well.
Mentoring should be done everywhere.
Exactly.
Oh, actually, since we're talking about mentoring, and can you tell us a bit about the National Mentoring Day as well, Chelsey? That's coming up soon.
That is coming up very soon, yes, very quickly. So yeah, National Mentoring Day, you know, it's there to showcase the wonderful benefits that mentoring brings, and also recognise all the wonderful people that are mentoring throughout the UK, because there's so many people actually doing mentoring, and the results are so proven now that, you know, there needed to be a National Awareness Day to celebrate and recognise this day.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. That was brilliant having you all on, and I'm sure that's helped our viewers today. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, so don't go away, because after the break, I'll be talking about 6 things super confident people believe about themselves, and we'll be watching the second part of the video of our time with Flair Mobile Hairdressing and seeing the final result of Jen's hair, and it looked amazing. See you after this. Welcome back to our program, everyone, all about self-belief. Now, if you've missed the beginning of this program, don't worry, you can head over to our YouTube channel in a few days' time, which is Chrissy B Show, and catch it there. And if you haven't subscribed already, what are you waiting for? We've got lots and lots of things there, great for your mental health and well-being, such as doctor's advice, psychologists. We also have lots of fitness tips and healthy recipes and lots more. So before I now give you my 6 tips on what super confident people believe about themselves, let's take a look at the second part of our video with Gabriele Musella. Everybody, this is Gabriele Musella, who is actually the owner of Flair, and he's going to be telling us how he put the business together and also how it's going. Hi, Gabriele.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well. It's nice to see you again. So tell us about Flair and how you got the idea to do something like this.
Yes, Flair is a mobile app where you can request a hairstylist to come to your home. So we cover all the hairdressing services. And we came about this idea like 6 months ago. We've been developing the app and the website. And that's because from family tradition, I come from a family of stylists. So hairstyling has always been in my blood.
And how's it been setting up your own business?
Well, it has been challenging, but actually London is a great place to start a business. It's such an international city. It's fantastic. You can find great people. We are always scouting for new hairstylists, and here you have got the best academies in the world.
And obviously it's always good to look after ourselves and stuff. But what can a hairstyle or a haircut do for someone?
It's a mental status that we can help to achieve, in the comfort of your home, basically.
And what do you like the most about having your own business?
Well, it's good because you can kind of communicate your vision in creating value for someone, and that's what's the best in your business. You have a team. It's hard to manage people, to manage all the deadlines, releasing the new app, to keep the quality high. But the best thing is you feel achieved every day, and that's great. And when someone uses the app and gives a great review and they feel better, even for just few minutes, that's what really fulfill your passions, basically.
Oh, I love it. It's so volumized. I've never had hair like this before. It's always been flat my whole life. So such a big change this is.
I haven't seen it yet, guys, so I'm a bit excited. So let's see. Oh my gosh. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm not washing my hair for a month. Done. Thank you. Chrissy, what do you think?
I love it. Lots of volume, had a nice trim, so I'm well happy with it. Thank you very much, Nicola. So everyone, we've had a lovely time here today. We all love our hairstyles. Jen, wow, all I can keep saying is wow. So artistic. And you don't want to wash your hair for a month, you said?
I like it. I got wow, she got amazing. Yay!
It's completely different, isn't it? Come on. But this is gorgeous as well. So do you think your parents are going to like it? Because they didn't actually expect you to cut your hair today, did they?
They did not expect this at all, but I'm just so excited to see their reactions. So we'll see what happens.
All right, guys. So thanks very much to Nicola and Francesco, and also Flair for the great interviews, and we'll see you next time. So thank you very much to Gabriele and his team. So the tips that I've actually found that I'll be sharing with you is by John Brandon. Now he's contributing editor of Inc.com, and he actually identified 8 things, so I'm just going to be sharing 6 of them with you. And these are things that super confident people believe about themselves. So the first thing that he says is, when I stand up tall, people notice me. Now this one is actually based on science. So he's saying the act of showing good posture, which Chris mentioned earlier, standing up tall, and even having that little, he calls it as a little swagger, it triggers a chemical reaction in your body. So you end up feeling more confident. And those who actually do this, they know that they have more confidence, and people will pay more attention to you and actually listen to what you have to say. But as we've all seen, when you see people that slouch, or you slouch yourself, you don't feel very good about yourself, and that person doesn't inspire confidence. If you're maybe in an interview and you're the interviewer and you've got someone in front of you that's kind of slouching and not really portraying that confidence, you will notice that straight away. So very, very important that your posture, standing up tall or sitting up straight, as Chris mentioned earlier. The second thing in the article was, when I make eye contact, it shows that I care. So we all know it's important to look at a person when they're speaking to you. It's a sign of respect. It means that you care about what the person's saying, you're interested, they're not boring. So it's very, very important. So super confident people know this, and they make sure they maintain good eye contact. Obviously not to overdo it. Don't try to stare, don't start staring at the person, because that could be, it can make someone feel quite uncomfortable, but at least show that you are interested, and that person will also respect you back and listen to what you have to say as well, which, you know, inspires confidence. So let's now go to the third thing that this article talked about, and this is, it's likely I already know a fair amount about this topic. So sometimes a sign of inhibition is when you actually question your ability to maybe track a conversation and understand the details. So the article is saying that, you know, you might go into meetings assuming that everyone else will know more than you do. So, but what super confident people believe is that they have a well-rounded viewpoint, they have the confidence, they believe in what they're saying, they believe that they have something to actually contribute to that conversation, to that meeting. So I think this is something that a lot of people go through. They always feel like they're the kind of maybe weak one in the group. They don't know as much as the others, but you do have valuable things to add as well. Not everyone knows everything. There could be, you could have strong points that other people haven't even thought about. So it's always important to go in there believing that you have something to add to that meeting as well, or that situation. And the next point that they talked about was, when I make a mistake, it will be a learning opportunity. So, you know, as the article says, you can always spot someone with very low confidence, because it's like everything that maybe doesn't go according to plan or seems to go wrong, they get really stressed, they feel anxious, they start to really beat themselves up and say, oh, I make so many mistakes, maybe I'm not talented enough. They just have all these negative emotions and feelings and thoughts about themselves. So don't let the fact that maybe you've made a mistake put you down, because everyone makes them. And actually that takes me on to my next point. And the fifth point is, new situations make me think of new ideas. So this actually ties into what Andrew was saying earlier. So his new situation was when his mum got sick and he had to take care of her. He was the primary carer, and this was something different for him. But instead of maybe dwelling on all the negatives, the things that he was going through, the things that his mum was going through, it got his brain ticking, and he started to think of something that was actually needed in the not just in the UK, actually all over the world. So that's how super confident people think. Whatever situation, if it's something out of their comfort zone, it's a situation they're not used to, they can actually draw from that and come up with something really, really powerful. And as he's doing now, you know, such an amazing product that he's taking forward, and I'm sure he's going to do really well with it. And finally, number 6 is setbacks are motivators. So as I mentioned earlier, confident people see failure and roadblocks as actual motivators. So it's not for them, it's not a sign that they failed or that, you know, they can't recover. It's actually, for them, it's just another stepping stone to success, because they really believe in themselves, they believe in the product or whatever it is that they're going for, and they think this is just part of the ride, this is just normal, so I'm going to, you know, I've had this setback, I've made this mistake, let me learn from it and let me keep going. All right, so as I said, there were other ones, so if you want to check out the ink.com website, you can read a lot more there. All right, guys, so we have reached the end of today's program, but don't forget, this is your show too. So if there's a topic that you would like to see discussed here on this show, maybe it's something that you've been through that you'd like to share and how you got help, or maybe it's something that you're still going through and you'd like to talk about it to raise more awareness about it. So don't forget, you can get in touch with us via our website, which is chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet us at Chrissy B Show or leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. And until next time, bye-bye for now.
Very enjoyable, very relaxing. You made me feel wonderful and very confident, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you.
Per avere dopo un effetto slime sheen molto lucido, nello stesso momento trattabile. E si possono fare parecchie linee con questo obiettivo. So he started
That sounded amazing.
I know. I feel like I'm abroad. This is amazing.
Yeah, nice. Poi ti chiediamo una domanda più su come da questi capelli, diciamo, in modo digitale, online.
I don't know what he's saying. I'm just smiling with his stars and delight.
No, but it just sounds great, so it doesn't matter.
Most of the communication is non-verbal.
This is so funny. Oh, sorry. Welcome back to our program today, all about tips on, no, start again, sorry. But don't overdo it. It just flashed again, did you see it? Okay. No mistakes! Yay!